Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
And I'm back for the fourth time today on Partnership for Profits. It's been a heavy podcast day. I think I said that earlier today, but it really has. This is my final podcast of the day, but I have a really exciting guest. I was doing some digging on Thomas Neel here, who's our guest today, and his company and what they're doing. It's very cool what they have going on. We have Thomas Neel here of Multis Medical, which is a company that creates powerful medical animations and illustrations to help attorneys clearly explain complex injuries to juries, judges, and clients. If I got that wrong, you can tell me, Thomas, but that's
pretty spot on.
Right on. Well, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on today. How are you doing this fine Friday?
Doing well. Just excited to get into the weekend and looking forward to next weekend. Actually, Mardi Gras coming up.
Oh yeah, Mardi Gras right around the corner. I know a lot of people in our world are excited about that event. I was telling you, I thought I was going, and now I'm staying behind to get the work done while everybody else goes and has a good time in San Diego. So you can go have fun in San Diego too.
That's right. You'll be missed.
It's all good. So Thomas, tell me a little bit about Multis Medical, and I know I kind of gave a very brief description of what you guys are doing, but give me the deeper description of what you guys are doing there at the company.
Yeah. So about 10 years ago, we founded the company to create 3D renderings of MRIs, taking really all of the data that comes out of the MRI machine to create a three-dimensional rendering of that, digital rendering. And that has since evolved into many other types of animations, really digging into the surgical animation side of recreating, pain management procedures, orthopedic procedures, that sort of thing. And a lot of crazy surgeries we've seen. Mechanism of injury. So we'll do animations of, slip and falls and how accidents happen and what happens inside the body during those accidents. And then most recently, we started doing some accident reconstruction where you're actually showing the vehicles running into each other and that sort of thing.
Cool. Okay. So was the idea always to kind of connect this with the legal world, the personal injury world, or?
Yeah. So our original founder was a personal injury attorney. He passed away a couple of years ago. We carry on as he would have wanted. But he was a plaintiff personal injury lawyer, really dove into this as a niche for, historically it was kind of always cost prohibitive, trial only. So we kind of came in and upset that marketplace a little bit, creating them better, faster, and cheaper.
Cool. So when you guys got it started, what kind of were there barriers of entry with PI lawyers to kind of, because it's kind of a new thing, right? It's not something that there's a lot of going on. How did you kind of get them on the page of like, yeah, this is something we can use?
It's still an education process. Some attorneys, they get it right away. They understand it. They know exactly which cases they want to use it in. Others, it's teaching them kind of how and when to use it, why it's going to add value. Just trying to really wrap their head around the each use case. Some people use it early in the cases in their demand. Other people wait for trial only. But really, it's some firms get it, some people don't. So that's really the biggest barrier. The video style versus the old school, just colorized illustration. That's also another thing that we're trying to get more and more people on board with, which makes total sense. Everything we see in our daily lives is a short form video, it seems like.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, those that get it, we've done a really great job of working with some top tier attorneys that have helped us tremendously, and their testimonials go a long way.
For sure, no doubt, especially if they're getting results from using what you guys are providing. So, talk to me a little bit about the results and what kind of difference they make and how juries and judges understand medical evidence in a personal injury trial.
Yeah, facts win cases. Visuals make those facts understood by everyone, right? 90% of what we process as humans is visual. We're just providing them with the tools that make their jobs easier. For a surgeon to sit up there and talk about a procedure, really will lose a lot of the jurors unless they're Stanford med students, full in the jury. But for the most part, that's not the case, if ever. But we're just giving them another tool for people to digest and tie the facts to the emotion, right? So the results that we see we've had cases where, $75,000 offer turns into a $500,000 settlement just with sending animations. The adjuster, the defense, they understand that you're building a case for trial. You're ready to go to trial. You're giving reason and a way to justify why they're paying out what they are. And then all the way up through trials, man, we've seen trials get $58 million. We've seen them get 30 and 50. That's all wonderful to share. We like to celebrate those successes with everyone, but really we're impacting so many more cases. That like I said, that 75 to 490 was a great example of what we can do through the value of animations.
Cool. So we in our business, we're in a storytelling business is what I like to tell people. Like we help people tell their stories. We help with social media content and podcast development and brand building and marketing for law firms. But what I always tell people is, we're in the storytelling business. We help people tell their story, and a big part of a court case, especially if you're in a trial, situation, is you're telling a story, and you want to be compelling to an audience, which in that case is your jury. So when you're telling a story that involves medical records and expert witness testimony, it's a lot of technical jargon, and like you said, if you're not a Stanford med grad, that stuff can be super confusing. So how are you guys translating something that's super technical into a story that everybody in the courtroom can follow and empathize with? Can you talk a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, so a great example is like pain management procedures, for instance, injections, which the defense is going to say is like getting a flu shot. And to hear a physician sit up there and talk about, sticking a needle into the spine, that has one effect. But when you're actually having the physician talk about that, and then you show a long needle going into, right into very sensitive areas, right? Not a lot of people know what a facet is. On an MRI, it may show no injury, but then they go in with a diagnostic injection into the facet, which shows really well with a video. Doesn't sound as painstaking as it might once you see it. So we're able to just take those things, whether it be a fusion, and show the hardware that goes in, or taking those generic or hard to understand things and turning them into something that comes to life. Right? You're seeing that, you're feeling the pain.
Like you said, the visual is so important for us as human beings. We process so much, almost everything through that sense of being able to see. So that's cool. That's great that you're kind of able to. I guess that really kind of breaks it down and gives it real world application. So it's not, like you said, it's not just some legal or not legal, but medical jargon that most of us don't understand. So yeah, seeing is believing, I guess, is kind of what it boils down to. For sure. So walk us through the process of how you guys work with attorneys to ensure that these animations are both accurate and persuasive.
Yeah, so from like the medical animation side of things, we'll get the op reports and the actual pre and post op imaging. We get photos of the client, photos of any scarring, that sort of thing. We'll then create the initial draft. Once we complete that first animation, we get it to the attorney. They get it in front of that treating physician or the expert that's going to testify. They can give us any feedback for revisions. Prior to us sending it, back up a little bit, prior to us sending it to them, we have an in-house physician review all of those. Then it goes to the actual treating physician. They give us any feedback. We're customizing hardware, instrumentation, the likeness of the patient on the table, utilizing their actual imaging in pre and post-op. And then we'll do any revisions necessary and get it over to them, so that when it comes time to lay foundation during trial or deposition, the physician can say that they'd seen it before, they had impacted the creation of it, and it is accurate.
Nice. So everybody's on the same page, essentially.
That's
you're
right.
just making sure everybody's on the same page from the jump. Gotcha. So you're not just showing injuries, you're helping juries feel the human impact. How do you balance emotion and objectivity in what you guys are doing?
Yeah, so visuals connect the logic to the empathy, right? So we're able to with the medical animation, you have to really be as accurate as possible. Can't be too gory, but you can't make it too simple, right? So we kind of toe that line, and some firms like it a little more gory than others. So we work custom with every attorney. We get to know what their style is, what their case is all about, and really kind of gear it towards what they're asking for. All while remaining, as accurate to the medicine. When it comes to an accident reconstruction or mechanism of injury, that's more of a liability rather than damages. So, at that point, we're utilizing either EDR data from the car, photos of the scene, the story that's being told, police reports, all of that stuff kind of goes into, recreating the accident.
So when you say recreating the accident, it's a computer, it's a 3D rendering of like one car running a red light, T-boning another car. Like you're getting to see that if there's not, camera footage of the accident, you're using that in combination with, or how does that work? Because it's kind of different than the medical stuff.
Really both. Sometimes
Okay.
we have camera footage and we'll enhance it or put it a picture in picture of the animation with the actual video. Other times we're just recreating based on the data that we have. And some, that includes like stopping distance, all the electronic data recorder information, the black box of the car, if you will.
Right.
That contains stopping distance, seat belts, acceleration, whatever the information that we would need. Plus, then we'll use point cloud data from LiDAR scanners to get the scene accurate for the intersection, the surrounding buildings, any trees maybe in the way. So really, we're coming at that from all angles.
Well, I'm curious, and the answer may be no, but obviously you're working in the personal injury space. Do you guys apply this to any other types of law? Like, is there any application for this, say, in criminal defense, or something like that?
So we do a lot of med mal cases as well.
Okay.
Criminal defense. I did actually just recently talk with a criminal defense attorney the other day. She happens to represent clients for vehicular homicide.
Okay.
In that state, the only way that you can be charged with vehicular homicide is if you're doing anything beyond just speeding. Speeding is something that if it's the only infraction, you shouldn't be charged, even if you run somebody over. So we're going to get involved with that case and showing that the guy was speeding. This person pulled out in front of him anyway and happened to get hit. So we'll recreate that accident.
Okay, I'm just thinking like in terms of like, if there's a shooting or, I don't know how deep that could go. I'm just curious, like what
product liability. We can show
Okay.
animations for product liability cases, premise cases, obviously,
Premise
shootings.
liability.
We can if there's information available, we can recreate it. Pretty much design anything as long as we have the proper data or scene, whatever.
Is the software that you guys are proprietary did you guys create the software in-house that you're using to put this stuff together? So
when we started with the 3D renderings of the MRIs, we actually patented software that has some AI built into it to be able to do those things. So we have 3 patents on that. The other software is a combination of multiple software systems that we compiled to be able to create these things.
Okay. So where do you see how do you see the technology changing the future of personal injury litigation specifically with, things are advancing so fast in 3D rendering and with AI, like you mentioned. Where do you see the future going? How do you see technology changing the future in PI lit?
It's hard to say, really. I mean, we can't really predict, what's going to happen next year, let alone 5 years from now. Right. But it's all going to evolve into a system where you can plug in, your op reports and you can plug in a lot of this information, and it's going to create something. Currently, we've tested it in multiple different platforms. It gives you something to look at, but it's not accurate. Not accurate
Right.
to the medicine, not accurate to the patient. So it's still a work in progress, but it's going to head that direction.
So what's the time frame right now for putting these animations together for, let's say it's for a car accident, and putting something together for that?
Our average turnaround time is like 3 weeks.
That's fast.
It's pretty fast. We have actually gotten a call from a firm who hired somebody else. They didn't like it. They called me on a Friday. They needed it for trial on Monday. So we were able to deliver it. We had couple people worked through the weekend, delivered it for them prior to trial on Monday morning. They actually got an amazing verdict out of that case, and they'll never go anywhere else.
So there's other companies that do this?
Yeah, there's a handful of other companies that are doing the similar things.
I didn't even know it was a thing. So that's very cool. So you guys,
I get that from everyone that I know that isn't in the industry. They're like, "How'd you get into that?"
well, see, I'm in the industry, but I'm not on we're on the marketing side of things. We're not on the
Right.
hey, let's help you get your case and win your case. We're helping you get cases is really what we're on the side of. So I kind of like digging it. I love being able to kind of dig into the other side, the actual doing of the work. Getting the cases in the door is great, but if you can't win them, you're not going to get more cases in the door. You don't have a firm at that point. So it's very cool to kind of dig into, the things that people are doing to get people justice and get the compensation that they deserve when something's happened to them. So what kind of misconceptions do you hear do you see from lawyers that they have about using medical animations in trial or mediation?
As I mentioned earlier, it was historically cost prohibitive or trial only. And that is something that we've intentionally come to approach. Small firms that didn't have the big budgets for case costs.
Mm-hmm.
We actually keep our costs low. We wait till the end of the case to get paid, so that they're not having to outlay the money ahead of time, and we get paid when they get paid. So it's really a no-brainer.
Okay.
The big firms are still going to pay typically up front. They've always had that money.
Right.
So it's just about working with the right people, giving them things that they can use to increase the value of the case, and being involved with it with them. We're going to bat with them, and certainly we'll earn our weight.
Got it. So talk to me a little bit about what you guys are doing for marketing. What are you guys doing to get the word out to law firms out there that you're doing this and you're helping out with the results in these cases? I'm just kind of curious what the marketing strategy is going B2B on that side of things.
So we do a lot of conferences, a lot of legal vendors. It's very conference heavy. Getting in front of people. Word of mouth has been tremendous for us.
I would imagine word of mouth is a big thing for you guys.
You get a guy like Bob Simon who uses it and uses it effectively, gets great results, and all of a sudden he's telling everybody about it. So we've been posted on listservs and local jurisdictions where that's been a huge component for us. We do a lot of social media, meta ads and things like that, which has been really, really profitable for us. It's an industry where you can't just cold call people. Right. It's hard to get through the attorney. So you have to get creative in your approach. And I think we've done a good job of, continuing that network marketing more than, just direct call.
Gotcha. Are you finding that what's most effective for you guys? I would imagine that the conference stuff is super effective to kind of hit a wide range of people, over the course of a couple of days.
There's some great conferences out there. Really, our primary bread and butter is people that are going to court, or at least people that are building cases for trial. Right? If you're a pre-lit only firm, you're probably not going to work with us. We're working with the top tier of trial lawyers. People that are actually trying cases and winning big verdicts.
I would imagine though that there's an effectiveness to having these animations pre-trial, where if the time is there where you can show the defense side, hey, we've got this, like, good luck, you're not going to win, and maybe the settlement happens a little faster because they're seeing like, oh shit, we got they have this, we got to figure out something. Does that happen with you guys, or is it
that's something that we preach all the time, and we're trying to get more and more people on board with that concept. We show them results of things that have happened. I've talked to defense lawyers, asked them what they think is the proper time to use an animation, what the value of them is. And I've heard from several of them that, send it, 45 days ahead of mediation so that they can go to the insurance carrier, get more authority or higher reserves, make it a productive mediation, give them a reason to settle the case, give them the ammo they need to go to their reinsurer and justify why they paid out what they did. So that's been pretty, it's very promising. Earlier in the cases, we've seen a lot of great results. It's just trying to get more and more people on board with that.
Gotcha, man. So you had a lot of ground next week. Have you been before?
I have. This will be my 5th year, I believe.
I heard it's a big party. I haven't gone before. I'll hopefully get to go next year, but I've heard it's a big party atmosphere for 2 or 3 days, right?
It's a great party, no doubt. And the golf tournament leading up to it is a great cause for Weston Wayne's Warriors, a child who passed away from cancer, and they're helping families that are going through the same things. We participate in the golf tournament. The
Awesome.
party's there for sure, no doubt. The content of the conference is fantastic. A lot of learning for both vendors and attorneys and doctors, for that matter.
Are you playing in the tournament?
I am.
Yeah. What's your
Probably
handicap?
not very well, but I got a whole bag of excuses ready to go just in case.
You get to play golf in San Diego, man. So it could be worse. There's a worse way to spend an afternoon for sure.
They have those the country club adjacent guys out on one of the holes just trash talking people as they try to swing. So it's always a good time.
Oh, those guys are going to be there?
Yeah, they were there last year as well.
Oh, that's great.
Pretty fun.
Very cool. All right, last question for you, Thomas. If every law firm could understand one thing about the power of visual storytelling, what would it be?
It works. It works. The bottom line is sometimes they have to see it to believe it. It's about clarity. It's about, when doctors, jurors, and attorneys all see the same visual truths, justice moves faster and at a higher value. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, an animation is worth $1 million.
That should be you guys' company logo, man. Write that down. That's good stuff right there. 100%. Write that down. You guys should use that in your marketing. Speaking as a marketing guy, that's a good hook.
That's a good hook.
For sure, man. All right, Thomas. Well, let people know out there how they can get in touch with you, how they can find you. We got a lot of attorneys who do listen to and watch the podcast. A lot of them will probably be at Law de Gras next week, but let them know how to find you and how to get in touch.
Awesome. Multismedical.com. Thomas at multismedical.com is my email. You can certainly reach us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're pretty much everywhere.
Awesome, man. All you PI lawyers, the ones we work with and the ones that watch the show, y'all need to get in touch with Thomas. I know that they can help you out. This is some really cool stuff you guys have got going on. Very, very cool. I hope you have a good time at Law de Gras next week. I'll be thinking of you as I'm back here doing all my work. Those of you who are watching our live stream right now, we appreciate you guys tuning in. If you are watching the recorded version after the fact on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple, we appreciate you guys doing that as well. We do love when you leave us a thumbs up or a like or a star or all those positive things. Leave us a comment and follow the show. That's how we can let more people know what we have going on here with Partnership for Profit, and let more people see what people like Thomas are doing to help people out in the industry. So we appreciate you guys tuning in and being a part of the show with us. Thomas, again, thank you so much for giving me some time this Friday. Enjoy Law de Gras, enjoy your weekend, and we'll connect again. Like I told you before, there's some attorneys I want to introduce you to. So we'll talk and get that conversation going. But until Monday, when we're back with more episodes, those of you who are watching, we will see you then, and have a great weekend. Be back next week with more episodes of Partnership for Profit. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.